Everybody, oh man, it's your main man, Anthony Brogdon, coming at you again. And I got a lady on the channel. Boy, we work together to get this to you. And man, you're going to be excited to hear what this sister got to say. Let me tell you somebody, she came referred to me, highly referred. My man said, hey, I got somebody, you got to hear this story. And let me tell you, I'm looking forward to it myself. And it's a good-looking lady too, so I know you're gonna like this. This is what I do here, Strong Inspirations, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. I am not playing with you, my friends. I find these people are now finding me, and together we intoxicate your mind where you stagger after watching this video. Not DUI. I don't want to do that to you, but where your mind is blown by what the people have to say. I am super excited this lady has come on the channel. So hit the subscribe button on Strong Inspiration. It's free, but don't ask no information. All it lets me do is that you like me, because I like you already, and I know you like me because you're spending your time to watch me. Hit the like button on this video. I know you're going to like it. Watch. Hit the notifications bell so that you get a ding, a shock, your lights flicker, your dog kicks you, your kids hit you, somebody lets you know, your cell phone goes off, something that there is new content on Strong Inspirations. Did you see the one I did with the lady who said that because of the food that she has eaten, the herbs and the vitamins and the fruits and the vegetables and things, that she cured herself of cancer in 3 months? Watch that video. Did you see the one I did with the guy who talked about how he going to Africa and so on and so forth? One guy, he talks about he goes to Africa and he tells you what you'll see in those pyramids. I got another guy to go to Africa, and he said that when he was over there and they had taken that cow and the cow was in the trunk of the car and the cow crying, he said, man, I couldn't eat no meat no more. And he talks about healthy eating. Did you see the one I did with the lady who she does those protests? She did a protest probably back in the 60s down in Alabama. And she said the white folks was coming out. The sheriff told her, you need to stop because I can't protect you. She said, the Lord got me. I don't need you, Mr. Man. Watch that video. We got them from all over the world. You see the one with the lady from Australia? She says that she grew up in the bushes of Australia. And at times she walked around naked. I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, I have no problem walking barefoot for sure. Watch that video. And I got them. It's over 500 videos on this channel. And we got some good ones like this lady. All of them are good. Some of them even made me cry. When that guy talked about how he almost hung his grandfather and they let him go at the last minute. I'm not, this is good stuff here. So come on, do what I ask you to do, please, and subscribe to Strong Inspirations. And a few more housekeeping. I'm speaking all over the country. I just got back from Florida, and I spoke at 2 museums. One of the museums is called the Harry T. Moore Museum. They killed that brother on Christmas Day, blew him up in the house, all because he was registering Black folks to vote. Unbelievable stuff. I was in Selma about 3 weeks ago, depending, the time when you see this, let's say, I was in Selma though, and I met some people who walked across the bridge those faithful days, because there were 2 days. It wasn't just Bloody Sunday, but there was also a Tuesday, and they walked across the bridge. And I got a lot of stuff coming up. So go to my website, businessintheblack.net, to hear all that I'm doing. I'm a filmmaker, everybody. I'm this serious. When I found out that there were black and folks in the 1800s that owned businesses and some of them were enslaved, I knew that I had to share that with the world. And so I put it in this documentary, and it is streaming on Amazon. It's called Business in the Black. Watch this. It's good. I did it. I know it's good because I did it. And then I wrote this book. It's called Black Business Book. Get you a copy of this. It has become America's #1 Black business history book. It's over 200 facts, real easy to read, too. I don't add no commentary. I give you the facts straight up. I number the facts so you can go to the back to the reference section to find out more information. It's mind-blowing stuff. 30 enslaved Black-owned businesses in here. All the Black newspapers, all the Black banks, all the Black HBCUs, all the ways enslaved Black folks got their freedom and more. So get you a copy of this. Now, you hear me use this term strong a lot. Strong is my favorite word. I like the word strong. It's strong inspirations. And in my world, strong stands for strength, tenacity, resilience, and a sense of oneness, nobility, and grace. And that is my introduction to the lady on the channel today. Come on, strong sister. Let's get it on. Thank you for being on here.
Great day and afternoon, everyone. My name is Cherry, and I am honored and I am privileged to be here today to speak with you all and to have you all to just listen to what it is that I have to say due to my own experiences, which may be factual for some and not for others, but we're all learning and we can grow together.
Okay. Well, before we get to the story, I do this with everybody. I ask them a couple questions about you, if you don't mind, nothing too personal, such as where were you born and raised?
I was born and survived Chicago, Illinois. However, at the age of 17, I was accepted into Grambling State University on a college tour, HBCU college tour. So from the age 17 up until now, Louisiana is home.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Now, in Chicago, did you grow up in the Black neighborhood, white neighborhood? What was that dynamic?
I grew up in mostly melanated neighborhoods. However, I went to a mixed school in middle school. We had melanated people from the United States, many from South American countries, and some Central American countries, such as Belize. I believe that was. We had some Belizeans there. We had some Caucasians there, and it was an experience of a lifetime.
So hold on. So you didn't grow up on the South Side?
I did not. However, during gentrification of the city of Chicago, my paternal grandmother resided. She resided in the Cabrini Green projects on the near north side of Chicago.
Yeah.
And from there, she enabled me to move out of the projects with her so that we can go to the south side of Chicago, which was my senior year in high school.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm gonna stay on that just a tad then. I don't know if that's part of the story. You grew up in the Cabrini Greens. You saw some Cabrini Green stuff?
I won't say that I grew up there. I was born and survived on the west side of Chicago.
All right.
However, my paternal side, his mother, resided in the Cabrini Green projects on the near north side.
All right. How was this? You grew up where you grew up, and you probably, as you do now, talking proper and whatnot, which is beautiful. Did you have to not talk proper going into Cabrini Greens when you went to visit? Did you have to do something different to not act different than maybe they were?
This is taking a leap from where I don't like to say assume, but I assume that we would be speaking of something else, but because it's you and someone referred me to you who's very well respected, I'll go into it. I was a mute those days when I would go to my grandmother's in the Cabrini Green projects.
What does that mean? You didn't talk?
I did not talk. If I did, it was very little.
That was your coping mechanism?
That was my coping mechanism. That was my coping, excuse me. That was my coping mechanism for growing up and surviving, being indigent with a major lack of resources.
Okay, we're gonna get back to that. Where's this? Where's the plantation at in your family? What's the southern roots?
My paternal grandparents were from Alabama, or my paternal grandmother was from Alabama. My paternal great-grandfather and great-grandmother were from Alabama. My maternal grandmother was from Arkansas.
Do you know how they got to Chicago area?
The Great Migration, primarily, that's all I know. And like many other melanated families, people kept things secret. They were very painful to speak about. So many people didn't speak about it,
Oh,
such
really?
as when I asked about my grandfather or my great-grandfather, there was very little information given. And other times my grandmother would talk to me about how her father was and how strong he was and how he protected and provided for the family down in Alabama on the farm. But there was no story of how they migrated to Chicago. She told me of an arranged marriage that her parents arranged for her. That's about it.
Well, okay. You use that term melanated. What are you saying? You got white in your family?
No, melanated people of color. They go by Black, people of color, Negro, nigger. That's melanated people. That's the proper term for people. Beautiful skin.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're
Beautiful
not
skin
saying
color.
okay. Is were you the first to go to college?
I was. I was the first to graduate from high school on my paternal side of the family. And I was the first one to graduate from college on my maternal side of the
Who told you to go to college?
family. There was a photo of a woman. I was in church. I was no older than 6 years of age. They were showing her picture all around the church in the dining hall when everyone was eating dinner after service. And they said, "Oh, she's so beautiful. She just graduated college and look at her." And they had her beautiful photo going around. And I loved the way that people were speaking about her. And I said, right then and there, at the age of like 5 or 6, I said aloud, I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna go to what? Excuse me. I'm gonna go away to college too. And that's how it became planted in my mind.
Did somebody tell you you couldn't?
They treated me as if I couldn't. They treated me as if I couldn't. Whether they knew that I was gonna go away to college or not, they treated me as if I couldn't. They treated me as if I didn't deserve anything great.
You're talking about family.
Family, people at church, people at school, people in the neighborhoods. When I became legal age to work, that is exactly how they treated me.
Oh, okay. Now you on to something here. God touched you. That's a question.
Many entities touched me, including the Most High.
So, somebody saved you from that condition.
I can honestly say that someone prayed for me, as well as people prayed on me. But someone prayed something great over my life. Things were spoken greatly about me and for me. 2 times I witnessed myself. I did.
Is there a dynamic among Black people how we don't push our children, uh, and also when those who have the mindset that you have, that they don't accept it and say, okay, we're going to love you and we're going to make sure you realize your dreams? Is there some dynamic to that?
There are a variety of dynamics to that.
Such as?
They may be a bit envious or jealous of the ones coming after them due to opportunities that they surpassed or that they missed out on, whether the parents said that they couldn't do it, that they weren't allowed to do it or not. They just didn't do it for whatever reason. So when they see other people coming behind them doing it, there's a little resentment there, whether it's towards the person that's doing it after them or for their parents or the people before them who said that they couldn't do it or that they wouldn't do it. And then there were some people who didn't want to do anything great. They wanted to maybe run the street. They wanted fast money, or they loved the men, they loved the women, and it deterred them from dreaming or having any type of ambitions for their life.
If you were to say, and I understand that, because I remember one time when I was growing up, man, my dad, we middle class, let's call it. Both my dad went to college, mom wanted to, and so on and so forth. So we went over to somebody's house, and I ain't gonna say who, and she must have told them about my dad. And when we got there, the lady kind of like was, I want to cuss him out. She didn't even know him. Talking about, who do you think you are? Did you get that? Who do you think you are for being this way?
Like I said, many people did not necessarily say it to me, but they showed me whether it was through passive aggressive behavior or microaggressive behavior, or the way that they looked at me, the way that they treated me. It was all in their actions.
Did it make you cry?
No, I held everything in because I was not enabled to express myself. So I took notes, I knew, and what I did to survive, I held everything in, knowing that if I exploded, whether I was right or wrong, or whether I hit first or not, and won the fight or not, there would be consequences to suffer. So I most times did nothing.
You said that even in the church, you didn't
Even in
you didn't find no solace in the church.
I did not. At times I did, but the majority of the times I did not. There was a lot
And,
of gossip. There was a lot of hypocrisy, contradictions of what the word and what the scripture said that we should abide by as citizens among this earth.
is
Yeah.
there a scripture that you lead your life by?
No, no. I left the church a long time ago. I left. The doors of the church are not always open.
Uh, did you find anybody, and I'm sure you might have alluded to it, that saw your pain?
If they did, they prayed for me in silence, or they spoke about me when we weren't in the same presence.
And you went to the extreme of, as you said, becoming mute, not saying nothing when you went to the Cabrini Greens.
I spoke very little. I was close with my grandmother. I was close with, one of her daughters. I barely saw my dad, but I kept on moving because I knew that if I stopped, I would um, get trampled over, I might die. I might become comfortable with having a good time as everyone else did. So I kept it pushing, whether it was through going to work. I went to school every day. I was involved in certain activities. After a certain age, I was able to perform basketball and football games. And I
Um,
also, I also wrote in a journal to clear my mind because it seemed as if I was speaking to someone else. So I got everything out in the journal.
you got
So
brothers and sisters?
through different lineages on my biological mother's side and father's side, but that's all.
But so were you raised by yourself?
You can say that I pretty much raised myself.
Now that you speak of this and you're grown, do you love people?
I love people who love me. I don't search for people. I don't chase people. I respect people that respect me. I love people that love me. That's all.
Can you love somebody?
At this point in my life, I can say that if that person is open to me loving them, then I will. If that person loves me first, I can love them, but I will not fight for love, to be loved, or to love anyone. That is just something I wouldn't do.
Do you? I know the answer to this, but let me ask: do you wish this had not happened to you?
That's a challenging question to be answered because had I not had it happen to me, I probably would have behaved or made some of the decisions that many of my past friends and acquaintances or associates made. I would not have been so sharp with
I
the
got you.
discernment like
I
they
got you.
were.
I got you. So you graduate at the age of 17?
I graduated at the age of 18, but I went on a historically Black college tour
I got you.
at
I
the
got you.
age of 17. What
I
was that, a
got you.
month and some change before my 18th birthday?
And so you had decent grades?
I did. I had, may I expound on it?
Yeah, on everything.
The thing that people and society tries to implant within us or instill within us is that we need certain people because they have a certain title or a certain position in our lives. But that's not always true. I had never made the honor roll until I moved out of my biological mother's house at the age of 17. When I moved out of her house, I got straight A's and B's, and I was in college Excel, which enabled me to leave school my senior year in half a day's time. So I would go to school, be there 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning, and leave at lunchtime or after lunchtime so that I can travel to go to Robert Morris College for their College Excel program. And on days when I did not have to attend College Excel in those 2 days a week, I had a job working at a shoe store. And I got all A's and B's. I graduated, I believe, with honors. I had 16 college credits, but when I got to Grambling, only 8 transferred due to the other 8 not being affiliated with my major. So I was an honor roll student. And before that, I was always 1 grade away from being an honor roll student. So let's just say that, and many people may agree and may not agree with what I have to say next, but you don't always need the people who are made responsible for you in order to succeed or in order to do great things in life. You don't. And I knew that. I felt that within my body and my mind when I was coming up, but there was no one to hear me. And if they did hear me, they would gaslight me or convince me that what I knew was wrong. So I just kept quiet.
What did anybody ever apologize?
They aimed to, but it was too late. And then some people pretended as if nothing happened, or they wanted to believe that I was too young to remember what they said or did, or how they made me feel, or how they acted towards me, or even looked at me.
And would you have accepted an apology?
I accepted some people's apologies, but some people, whether they apologize or not,
Didn't matter.
it didn't matter and it doesn't matter now, especially now.
Did you show somebody a report card when all this came to be, and when you were at that moment and said, "Look at what I've done"? Did you do that?
I did. They found it mistakenly. Like I said, I was always working. When I was on the south side of Chicago at my grandmother's house, we had so many different personalities, so many different energies and spirits that were aimed against me. And one guy who was married into the family, my report card slipped out of my back pocket and it was on the floor. And when I came home, I was walking around trying to get something to eat. And he said, "I got your report card." I said, "You got my report card?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "Okay." He said, "This is all A's and one B on his report card." I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "You're a straight A and B student." I said, "Yeah, I've been for a long time now." And he said, "But people always make it seem," he said, "Never mind." When he said that, he was about to tell me, people always make it seem as if you're just a rebellious teenager, or people just always make it seem as if you don't go to school or that you won't amount to anything, because those are some of the things that were stated about me to other people in the presence of him. And I said, "Okay." He said, "I should go home and I should put everybody in my house on punishment." He said, "That's all they think about is looking pretty. That's all they're concerned about is looking good for the next party or looking good for school. And here you are with all A's and B's." And I said, and my grandmother said, "Yeah, she always gets A's and
Your
B's.
grandmother
She
knew.
has good grades." My grandmother knew, but her children were haters. I'm just gonna put it out there. Her children were haters.
Yeah.
And he said, "Just wait. Just wait. I got something for you." I said, "Oh, you got something for me?" I said, "What do you have for me?" He said, "Just graduate. I got something for you. I'll hook you up when you graduate. Just graduate. Just graduate."
Oh,
And I said,
really?
"Okay." I graduate and I see him. I have to laugh. I see him in front of one of my grandmother's children. And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I graduated." I said, "What about that thing you said that you got for me? You said you had something for me." Anthony, this man looked and said, "I lied. I just said that so that you would graduate." I said, "I was going to graduate regardless of whether you or anybody else did anything for me." And do you know he did? He never got me anything. He never got me anything. And that stuck with me for a while.
I didn't
It
know where
stuck
that
with me for
story
a
was
while.
going.
Excuse me?
I didn't know where that was going. So, what, what do what do you want people to know? What's the end game? Uh, I'm not talking about the people who did it to you, but let's say people out here are watching this. You telling your story. What do you want them to know on all fronts?
Home is not always where you were born and survived or born and raised. Don't expect anything from anyone, even your parents, your so-called loved ones, your family. Do what is right for you. Do what you know within you, in your mind, and in your body, and your spirit, that is right for you. Live for you. Do right by other people. If people trust you, don't betray them. If you have people that love you, you cherish those people, no matter who they may be. Blood, adoption, marriage, people you may meet while you're climbing out of the trenches or out of the mud. No matter what, you love those who love you. There's so much more that I can say, but I just don't feel like crying today.
You still cry about this?
I cry about many things. I still do. Because when you are raised or when you're surviving under a narcissistic parent, or if you survived any narcissistic relationship ever, it is scientifically proven that you need professional help.
Yeah, that
So
narcissist thing, that's a deep deal there.
it is. There is so much that is tied into being a narcissist and being affected by a narcissist.
Yeah.
So I would tell people to always aim for what's ahead. Stay focused on the prize. Like they say, keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize.
Did you get help?
I am currently getting help. I
Oh,
have
really?
yes, I do. I do. Well, yes, I am. I
Yeah.
have a therapist and I also have a life coach
Oh.
alongside the support of friends and acquaintances that I didn't think would love me the way that they do.
Um, when you meet somebody, when do you tell this story? Let's say a friend, not male or female, or do you not tell it and just be, you know what I'm saying? Do you tell it off the beginning, or say, hey, let me tell you who I am, and that gets a
I'm
person to understand you, to be more sympathetic, to be more cognizant of you, so on and so forth, or you don't to see where they lie. There's a question there.
I've told this to people at different times. And every time I get different responses or different treatment afterwards, no matter when I tell it. So I just tell it regardless.
For sympathy.
No, not for sympathy. I used to tell it so that people can know my side, can know my side of the story, can know why and how I may have had an attitude back then, or why I make the kind gestures that I make today. But now I'm beginning to just do what I do. And as we're getting to know one another, I'll express it.
Do you overcompensate somehow?
I used to. I used to. Until I realized that that was a trauma response. That was my coping mechanism. And I just didn't want anybody to feel the way that I felt or go through anything that I went through when I was doing the best that I could. That's why, like now, I have to be careful. But let's say a good 5 or 6 years ago, when I would meet people who may have been younger than me, or people who had a few years older than me, and I saw that they were aiming for greatness, they were doing the best that they could, I would go and do the very best that I could by them and for them. Like, what is it that you need? What's this? What's that? Can I help you with this? Can I help you with that?
Oh,
Whether they appreciated
really?
it or not. Oh yeah, I did. I did for a very, very long time, because I know how lonely it can be out here in this world when you have a lack of resources, for one, and two, when people see you, they watch you struggle, and they know, and they see what it is that you're enduring, but no one steps up to the plate to at least offer a helping hand, or at least search for any resources for you. I know how all of that feels. So
You went to Gremlin by yourself,
I did. I did.
and did you get a chance to adapt to college life and being on your own? Was that the peace of mind and the quietness or whatever that you might have been searching for all along?
Yes, at my own capacity. Those were the best days of my life up until recently. My Grambling State University days were the best days of my life. However, I was suffering post-traumatically from all of the aftermath of being reared or surviving Chicago, Illinois. And many people will let you know that she enjoyed herself. However, she was not the kindest. She did not look kind. People
Oh,
were
really?
afraid. I'm smiling a lot now, but when I stepped foot on that campus at 18 years of age, people was like, whoa, she does not look pleasant. Who is that?
Oh, really? What did you study?
But when people got to know me, they was like, wow, when I first met you, man, I was scared. I was scared that you might cut me, or I was scared that you might.
I got you. I got you.
And I said, I apologize. Even today, when I went back down to Louisiana and I hadn't seen people in years, they reminded me of who I really was. And they showed so much love. And they was just like, don't you ever stay away that long. We love you. We miss you.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I needed that. I needed that. So they said, whatever, we all family. It's like, come on now. Don't stay away from home that long again. I said, come
That's
on.
beautiful. Did did you get good grades at Grambling? You were able to continue that, and you found the money to stay there and all that other stuff, I guess.
Let me tell you something. Grambling State University is not only world renowned, but that is the real world. Whatever you don't have, you learn to get it the legal way by any means necessary.
What you get your degree in?
Mass communication with a concentration in public relations and 2 minors in sociology and psychology.
You get a master's?
I did not. I withdrew from a master's program. I did not finish my master's degree because I knew and I realized that I realized, and then I came to know that that was not something that I would be happy in doing. So I stopped.
What did you do for a career? What do you do, Mass?
I'm on a hiatus and I'm working on being a soap writer at the moment.
But before this, you worked in corporate America or something like that. And
Before this, I lived overseas for a number of years. And I
oh,
returned to the United States in
oh,
2019.
oh, okay. It I don't know the whole. I don't know. He wanted you to come on here to do what? To tell that story, or more? Is there more that you want to share?
I wanted
Some
to,
thoughts?
I
Yeah.
wrote, I have notes here that I wrote for today's podcast.
All
But out
right.
of respect to you,
All right.
I didn't just want to say, hey, that's not something I want to talk about. Like, I have my own notes, but I'm like, no, this is a great introduction so that
Yeah.
people can know who they're hearing from.
But the gist of it is, you want people to know who, and maybe even family, who said those things, how it made you feel, and how you've overcome it, and how, even, I'm putting words in your mouth, and excuse me for doing that, how they should not have done that.
They should not have done that. No one should do that to anybody, whether it's blood or not. You should never do that to someone because everyone does not turn out like me. Everyone does not survive that. Everyone does not have the willpower that I have or had back then. And that's why you see some people who you're like, I went to school with them when we were in elementary and they were the smartest in the class. And look how they turned out. You don't know what happened to them. Someone in their family probably did something gruesome and despicable to them or said
I got you.
something despicable to them or about them.
I got
And it
you.
just caused them to just lose all hope.
Are you telling people this to, or like gonna write a book or something? You said you had something written there.
There's some
What's the
notes for
game
today's
plan?
podcast. Today's podcast, I was going to speak about absent fathers.
All right.
And we could touch on that if you
I
would
want
like.
to.
Okay, so I wrote some bullet points down. Would you like to hear them?
Yes.
Okay, so I said today's podcast, After Fathers, bullet point number 1, what daughters endure, what daughters endure without a father or father figure. Bullet point number 2, what sons are prone to becoming in society without a father or father figure. Bullet point number 3, how sons without fathers or father figures become feminine. Bullet point number 4, how daughters without fathers or father figures become masculine. Bullet point number 5, who will be the fatherless son's wife? Who will be the fatherless daughter's husband? Bullet point number 6, how can we, the people of the world, change this vicious cycle and raise the best generations to come?
All right.
So for each bullet,
Right.
points, I
Right.
made some examples from my own experiences.
Let's go
dealing
for
with
it. Come on, I want it.
dealing with people.
I
Okay,
want
so
it. I
bullet
want it.
point number 1, I wrote, the levels of neglect run so deep that we enable other male species or specimens to take advantage of us in many ways, us women. And for example, I put becoming the head of household while the quote unquote man does nothing, even though he can cook or clean the house for you. You may come home and the house can be a complete and utter mess while he's been there all day. No food's cooked for you after a day's work. Example number 2, women date distant and dismissive behaved men who probably also never had a father or father figure. And they may beg or entertain that man for them to stay and do the right thing by them. Example number 3, women settle for what they do not really want, for what this man that they love is offering in order to keep him with them. I've seen it. I've witnessed it.
Sure.
Bullet point number 2, I said sons without fathers or father figures are prone to becoming a spoiled princess type who throw tantrums when ignored. For example, they may become accustomed to being spoiled by women in their family, and expect it from their woman without returning anything to her in love. Example number 2, they may become comfortable, drop out of school, and become a dependent on a woman's work ethic, alongside possibly becoming abusive in many ways. Example number 3, as we take a look at society, many homosexuals had no father or father figure present during their developmental and adolescent years. If you want to stop and expound on those 2 bullet points, then we can.
We can.
If not, I can continue reading.
No, we can.
Okay. You have any questions so far?
No.
Concerns or inquiries?
No, you go, keep going. You jamming.
Bullet point number 3. They are jealous of successful women as adults, and they may have envied their younger sister who had a father or father figure when they were growing children. For example, the man will be flashy dressing. He'll be a flashy dressing man who has it in his mind that he looks better and sexier than women, or will compete against a specific type of woman or women, or a specific type of woman or a specific type of women. Example number 2, the man will enable women to do their own gentleman responsibilities, like opening doors of any kind, including vehicles or building doors. He won't open the door for you. He won't close the door after you. Lock it, make sure you're safe, any of that. Example number 3, the man, as I've witnessed as a child, will do only good for himself and not for the woman and or the children, such as I remember a man buying a cellular phone for himself and not a landline, which was needed for the family. And his wife and he argued for hours about that. I remember that. And he saw absolutely nothing wrong with that. The amount of money that you spent for the phone and the amount of money that you spent on minutes by then surpassed the amount to just get a landline and a plan.
Right.
But he did only for himself and spent that money on himself.
Right.
I saw that. Bullet point number 4. Daughters are forced to become masculine. Excuse me. I don't want to say what I think. This is what I know, what I've seen, even within myself. Daughters without fathers or who had no father figure, we are forced to become masculine, but we think that we are successful and independent. We're the ones that make sure everything is properly orchestrated in life altogether, most times. Example number 1. Daughters without fathers tend to finish their education and be responsible adults, which makes them targets for men without any ambitions. Due to having no father or father figure, they most times afford the man, quote unquote, the luxury of being cared for by them in a multitude of ways without her actions being reciprocated.
I got you.
Example number 2, daughters without fathers or father figures are more aggressive in their work or schooling or with anything that they want or need. Example number 3, daughters without fathers turn into wives who refuse to submit innocently to their husbands out of anger for the fathers, uncles, brothers, cousins, or etc. who watch them battle life alone. Example number 4, daughters without fathers or without a father figure may have become pimpstresses out of unrecognized anger or resentment towards their fathers or former men lovers or any man that they feel should have been there for them and supported them or protected them. Like a man becomes a pimp, you have women out here who become pimpstresses. Like a man is an actor, women are actresses. So I use the word pimpstresses because that is what a lot of women turn into. They do. Bullet point number 5. There are some men who marry or may not have had a father. There are some men who marry who may not have had a father or father figure, who in return become great husbands and fathers. I've communicated with an amazing man who recently told me that he had a father, but his father didn't care for him and wasn't hands-on. He is now greatly involved and a hands-on father to his daughters because he didn't have it.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yes. Example number 2, men without fathers or who did not have father figures at times realize the effects of not having a father and will fight tooth and nail for their son, their daughter, niece, nephew, etc., including other young people without any parents or father, especially. They are their loved ones' greatest supporters, and they heal their own neglect issues and abandonment issues, whether they know it or not. Many men do that, and they don't realize it. Tyler Perry was the first man that I heard say out of his mouth that him talking to his son and teaching his son spoke to the inner son in him. And I thought
Yeah,
that
I
was
can
beautiful.
dig that.
I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Example number 3. Most of my life, I've seen men who didn't have fathers or father figures become quite the contrary of example number 2. Those men are despicable to me, especially if they are abusive by any means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Example number 4. Fatherless daughters, husbands will be, fatherless daughters will be every contradiction to what her father, uncles, and brothers were if she waits. Take her time to heal and choose wisely. I'll say that again in case I
Yeah. All right.
misstated it. Fatherless daughters, husbands will be every contrary to what her father, uncles, and brothers were if she waits, take her time to heal, and choose wisely.
All right.
Do you get that?
Yep. I got you.
Uh, example number 5. Fatherless daughters will settle for any man to experience the love from a man that she was supposed to have from her day one man, her father. The man can and will have no financial stability, no formal education, no efforts to do right by any means, but the fatherless daughter will cherish him greatly by continuously staying with him, regardless of the situations.
Right. I've heard of that.
Yes. And that takes me to bullet point number 6. We, the people of the world, can get a hold of the nonsense by being and choosing wisely. We know the history, damage, and effects that this has caused, and we can stop it by not being willing to become single parents, ignorant. We can read more, search for mentors, counseling, therapy, and we can respect one another alongside leading by great and intentional example.
Very beautiful. Uh, is your are you not on a journey to help people?
I will say that I'm on a journey of healing. I'm on a journey to helping myself. And I won't say that I will be on a journey to helping other people or not helping other people. What I would do is put the information out there. And if that assists people, whether they want to learn or not, then so be it. I won't force anything down anybody's throat.
Yeah, I got you. This you say help yourself. What does that look like
Oh, I'm
for
glad that
you?
you asked that question because I was looking for other people to help me. And I didn't have, and I didn't realize it until later on in my adulthood that that's what I was doing all along. I was searching for love. I was searching for peace. I was searching for wisdom and knowledge and, that ability to comprehend. But it's like all of that was within myself once I took a look within myself. And I've had some people in the world to tell me, hey, Cherry, like, honestly, in real talk, because this is how people in the world speak.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk, you don't need any of them. You don't need anybody that treated you like they treated you in the past. You don't really need anybody now because you're only you. Like you are an individual who is very intelligent, intuitive, alongside being physically attractive. They're like, look, you don't have to stand for that. And you don't have to beg anybody for anything, whether it's to love or be loved. You don't, whatever it is that you want is already within you. So when people started telling me that, I said, well, hey, you know, and these
That
people
is
were
the
not blood
answer.
related to me. Right. And these people were not blood related to me. And I even had a friend
Yeah,
that tell me, they
yeah,
said, stop aiming to be a helpful Susie. Like
yeah, right,
you,
yeah, yeah.
they say you always acting and speaking as if you have to do this for somebody or you have to do this for that somebody. It's like, no, you don't. have to do anything because that's what I was brought up doing. I had to take care of everybody. But my friends, they said you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, right.
My aunt said it. She said, because a lot of people aren't looking for help. Some of them are just looking to vent so they can get that off and they can go out and continue to be foolish.
Well, one of the things that I've heard is that on an extreme case, when somebody has been a victim of something, crime or otherwise, the healing process for that person has been to uh, uh, accept them, who did it, and to what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, forgive them, forgive them. Have you done that? Have you said that to them? I forgive y'all, and I'm good. I'm a beautiful person. I ain't even got you ain't even got to add despite what you did, but I forgive y'all, and y'all my family, and I'm gonna take the high road. I don't know how far you go with it, but you follow my. There's a question there.
2 words. They're irrelevant.
So you don't go to the family house?
What family? What family house? Of the people that came from my grandmother's lineage or my grandfather's lineage or my
I don't know which
maternal or
ones.
paternal lineage.
I don't any one of them. You don't call them on Christmas. They don't call you on Christmas.
What's Christmas?
Okay. On your birthday.
What's a birthday?
Oh.
No, literally, like, what is a birthday? That's the day that I was birthed by my mother. So technically, that is her birthday.
Oh.
So she can have that birthday.
Are you good now?
I am. Honestly, and I can't express this enough. I am so good to whereas I honestly don't know what to do with myself. Sometimes I want to go out on my patio and scream, "Ah, I'm so fucking good.
Love it.
Fuck that. Where you want to go eat at? Cherry. God damn it. You ain't got to cook shit for nobody. You can
I
go eat
love it.
now. Oh, you gonna meal prep? Okay. Only because you want to. Oh, you gonna cook now? Only because you want to. You don't
I
have
love it.
to. Oh, you want to go and get something on sale? Well, let's go get us a new pair of earrings, or
I
let's just go
love
out
it.
and enjoy the sun. So we could do, oh, you don't have to babysit. Let's go babysit ourselves. Let's go sit out in the park. Let's go get a book. Let's go get some tea. Okay. And
Yeah, I love it.
why not? Let's go. You want to grab a blanket so the grass won't be all itchy and you come home all red from scratching?
I
Okay, we can
love
do that
it.
too. Let's go.
Are you an
So
are you an angel?
good. Am I a who?
Angel.
Allow me to ask you, why would you ask me that question?
Because it's something about you. It comes across. You about to make me cry. You
Go
about to
ahead.
make me cry.
Go ahead.
Because I almost want to say, and I don't know what this would do for you. I'm sorry that happened.
Don't be.
I mean, but really, shucks, if nothing I could have done, but damn, you ain't deserve that. You ain't deserve that. And the only thing that we can say is they didn't know no better. I know people who I've had on the show who face racism. I got a guy I just interviewed. He was one of the walkers across the Selma, Alabama bridge. and the white guy hit him in the back with a leg of a chair. And he said his back still hurts today. He was 12. He said, man, I got one of my best friends is a white guy. I said, really? One of my best friends is a white guy. He said, them people who did that knew no better. That's what they was taught. I can't blame them for that. He said, so I sleep well. I don't know. That's what he told me.
And you
I
can
feel
tell
very
that friend,
fortunate that I did not have that trauma.
he still have back pain to this day.
He said he still got back pains to this day.
Apple cider vinegar,
Yeah.
teaspoon or tablespoon of apple cider vinegar every morning. He gonna look up one day, and he not gonna even realize that pain is gone, and he's not gonna even remember when the pain left.
Oh,
Apple cider
okay.
vinegar,
I'll try that. So you
apple
lived
cider vinegar.
overseas. So where did you live as we come to a close?
Asia and Africa.
Really? You
I
a big
did.
success.
You can say that.
I can. You got a house with a patio. That's a nice curtain behind you. That's a nice hat.
Thank you.
And you chilling right now, so that you can start this business that you're gonna be a big success because you know how to focus. I'm sure.
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever it is, you probably be a millionaire real soon because you know how to focus. That's all it is. You got to sit there and focus on it for a couple years or whatever it takes, and then you're gonna write a book.
Many people ask that question, and somebody threatened me, and I don't appreciate it. Said if I didn't write a book, they would do something bad to me. I said, wait, why would you
No,
do
that
that?
was a joke. That
Why
was a
would you
joke.
threaten me?
Yeah, I'm sure that was joking. Because you got to get it out there.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Like I said, I didn't mean for the
yeah.
podcast to go this way, but
No, I did, and I didn't even know it. I didn't know where it was going.
I
That's what
just
we
started.
do here, Strong Inspirations.
I just started telling people. I told one of my really good friends a few years ago that I was born and survived Chicago. She almost dropped the phone because for years people knew me from being from Louisiana. And when I told her, she said, "No wonder, no wonder." And I said, "Well," she said, "You from the Midwest. We are the fucking best." I said, "Oh my goodness," and we both cried because she's from Detroit.
Mhm.
And I was like, she said, "No wonder." She said, you give that Southern hospitality. She said, "Your accent," she said, "the way that you do things is so Southern." But she said, "No wonder." She said, "I've been around you." And she said, "I've noticed that it was things about you." She said,
Mhm.
"That's why." She said,
Yeah,
"You born out the Midwest." And I love Midwesterners, like people from Detroit.
yeah.
I love that. And I love people from the dirty South. I'm not talking about the Carolinas. I'm talking about people from the deep South. I love
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's my home. I
uh,
love them South.
yeah.
Love it. That's my home.
Yeah, write a book, if you will. You already got some of the work already done. Yeah, if you can. But speak on it. Yeah,
Speak
tell
on what?
people, as you so see fit. Uh, as we come to a close, is there one last? No, I shouldn't put it that way. Is there one more thought that you want people to know, a question that I have not asked you, or something that you want to share?
Whatever it is, whether you are elementary age, middle school, high school, university, professional, no matter what it is, if someone is currently mistreating you, mishandling you, tell someone, preferably police officer, firefighter, school counselor, school principal, a teacher. Don't be ashamed, because if you do not inform someone, or if you do not aim to get it out, if you don't continuously search for assistance, then that would enable the abuser to continue doing what they're doing and more, because they feel as if they can get away with it. You tell someone, and if the first couple of people don't assist you, or if you're ridiculed for it, or even beaten or abused even more, you keep telling people. Keep telling people. And if you show up with a place, if you show up to a place beaten and bruised, mucus running, let it run. Tell it anyway, because somebody out there, some group, some organization, whether for profit or nonprofit, they're going to help you. Don't wait. Don't sacrifice your life, your livelihood for that person. And we can go deeper, but like I said, I don't feel like crying today.
Yeah. How about this? Are you gonna you want your family to see this?
I don't care who sees it. I don't care who sees it. I want whoever sees it, I want it to be meant for them to see it.
Are you gonna send it to them?
I'm not sending it to anybody. That's your position, not mine.
When I send it to you, I'm gonna ask you to do it, but that's your call. Everybody, this is what we do is Strong Inspirations. I didn't know where this was going. And you know what happened was the guy who told me, he said, you got to interview this lady. She got a deep story. People want you to get this out. That's why he said it. I thought it was, I had no clue. And everybody who's watching me on Strong Inspirations, the part that we talk about, we, as you know, we talk a lot of Black history, but we talk about wellness too on this show.
I'll tell you this. I didn't plan on, or neither did I want to express how I was born and survived Chicago, Illinois. I wanted to keep it Southern. However, if I'm going to reach a certain mass people, I feel I must be honest. They must know. But then again, it's like, I don't know. I feel some type of way of
Well, you know
expressing.
what could happen is you can come back on. We can talk that Southern thing next. I got
Yeah,
no
let's
problem
talk
with
that
that.
Southern thing.
If
Let's talk
if
that
you want
Southern
to,
thing.
I'm
That's where the
editing.
love was at.
Yeah, you
That's
want to
where I
come
got my
back on.
first peaceful night's rest at. Let's talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, we'll come back on. We can talk that Southern, but you wanted to tell us. That's why you wrote that paper. You ain't
Oh, I
fooling me.
wanted to speak about that absent fathers because it's
I
a real thing.
it's a real thing. And
It's one of
what
the
happened
realest
today
things.
was intended to happen. That was intended. I can tell you, I had no clue. That was intended to happen. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you
Appreciate it.
for having me and
Yeah.
enabling me to express and
Yeah.
speak.
Thank you. Hope you feel better.
I do.
Yeah, I suspect you do. Everybody hit the subscribe button on Strong Inspirations, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. We let the people do the talking, and you find folks like this lady who she can't stop me from saying this. You an angel. You can't stop me from saying that. I don't care what you do with that. Too late. I've said it. And I know the people who are watching me are seeing an angel. That's what she looks like. That's what she looks like. And she walks around in angel-like ways. She glides across the sidewalk. She flies in the air. And because of what has happened to her, she's got some things that she can tell you. And God put his hand on her shoulder so that she could tell of his good works, of somebody's good works. So like I say, everybody, that's what we do here at the channel. We're gonna talk some more with this sister. You got to understand that one. And to you, I say this, and I mean this with all sincerity. I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind. Thank you for being who you are.
And once again, you're very welcome.
We got love for you, babe. Thanks, Sherry. Bye-bye. We out, everybody.
Bye-bye.